Man who knows all about the Bills Mafia. He played over a decade for them. He's now with the ESPN and ACCN, and he's a 10-year veteran and a two-time Walter Payton Man of the Year award nominee from the Buffalo Bills. Eric Wood, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Rich?
I am doing fine. What does this mean to Western New York to see all of this go down right now, Eric?
Oh, my gosh. It's a long time coming, and there is feelings in Buffalo of, man, we've waited so long to host playoff games, and then it's the year of COVID, and
Right.
we can't even get in the stadium. But they did allow 6,700 fans in the building last week, and they will again this week. But, you know, it's a fan base that has stood by the team through a 17-year playoff drought, which I played most of, and they were just so loyal, and they deserve every bit of this success that the Bills are having now.
So, I mean, you got there. What year did you exactly get there, Eric? You got there in
2009.
2009, and that was, my God, that was the Dick Duran, Perry Fewell season. Then Chan Gailey, Doug Marrone, we know what happened with him sending a text. Did you get a text from him saying I'm out? Is that the way that went down back in the day, Eric?
No, I didn't even get the text. And to your point here, I would venture to say that it may be a record that in my 9-year career, I played for 7 head coaches. If you count the 2 interims, that's got to be a record.
That certainly does. So then McDermott comes in. How has he changed everything, Eric?
You know, Sean McDermott, he comes in and he's talking about the process. And, you know, he's got some Philadelphia ties, and there were some Joel Embiid jokes with him. But, you know, for him, it was, This isn't a one-day fix. This isn't probably a one-year fix. This is continually doing the right things over and over and over, establishing some continuity within the organization, which we hadn't had in so long. I mentioned all of the coaches turned over, and what they've done is just taking a very strategic approach to, hey, we're going to draft well, we're going to retain our own, we're going to get free agents that Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane called fit their DNA. They're going to bring in the right types of guys, and it's really paid off for them. And I'll tell you what, in 2017, we were ready to kill Sean. He walks in the door, and in training camp, they traded away Sammy Watkins. They traded away Ronald Darby. They traded away Marcel Darius. We're like, Coach, are we tanking? Like, is this real? Like, are we tanking right now? He said, no, you got to trust me. And me and Kyle Williams and LaShawn McCoy and Richie Incognito, we still had some talent on the team. We said, you better get rid of all of us if you think we're tanking. And then of all the pretty talented teams I played on in Buffalo, when we go try and win that free agent lottery every year, and we paid Mario Williams and all these big-name guys to come into Buffalo, that was the year. 2017 was the year that we broke the playoff drought.
You know, it's fascinating, Eric, because the concept, Eric Wood, former Buffalo Bill, Pro Bowl lineman here on the Rich Eisen Show, now with ESPN and more, and his own podcast as well. It's interesting because the whole concept of tanking, you saw what happened in game 256, and the Eagles were accused of tanking for a better draft position from 9 to 6 by not winning that final game in front of the whole country. You know, the Jets, I was sitting here as a Jet fan, full disclosure, saying that they should have lost every last game because Trevor Lawrence meant that much. And obviously, as you know, the players could care less about it. But you went to the coach along with some others and said, hey, are we tanking when he first arrived? That happened in Buffalo with Sean McDermott? Yeah,
it was actually a leadership council meeting, and Sean called the meeting to kind of tell us that, hey, there's going to be some news coming out today. We're going to unload a few guys. And these were our last 2 former first-round draft picks, and then one year we didn't have a first-round draft pick because we had traded it for Sammy the year before, and we took Ronald Darby in the second round. That was our highest draft pick. So these were our 3 top draft picks from the previous 3 drafts, which was the Doug Whaley, Buddy Nix regime. He traded away all 3 of them in training camp.
And then Josh Allen arrives. What was he like when he first showed up, Eric?
So Josh Allen came in as I was leaving. I had a surprise career-ending neck injury after the 2017 season, but I actually got to meet him down at the Masters. So Ryan Fitzpatrick and I are close friends. Josh Allen was with the CAA crew down at the Masters. I was hanging out with those guys, and I was still really close with Brandon Beane and those guys in Buffalo. And I had told them, I said, you know what, I'm coming to grips with my career ending and all of that. But I said, if you guys draft Josh Allen, I'll be jealous, because that's the type of guy that, one, if anybody spends any time around Josh, he's just a guy's guy. He's extremely humble, but he's also confident. He's got that infectious personality about him. And I said, that's the type of guy that I would love to kind of pour into towards the end of his career, have that center-quarterback relationship to where, I move on and my kids one day are like, oh, yeah, there's Daddy's buddy Josh. Look at him. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, I wanted that. I wanted to kind of mentor, have that be my legacy. God had different plans for me, and that's all well and good. But when Josh Allen went to the Bills, I was extremely excited for the organization, just from a standpoint of I knew that they'd have a great representative of the city. Now, did I envision him in year 3 being an MVP caliber quarterback? Probably not. Maybe not this soon. But the work that he's put in to progress from year 1, Bills stink in 2018, he has the worst completion percentage in the league. 2019, they improve, make the playoffs, and he's still got the worst completion percentage in the league. And then in year 3, they go 13-3. They're hosting their second playoff game this weekend, and he's got the 4th highest completion percentage in the league. That's hard work. That's continuity with an offensive coordinator. There's a lot that goes into that, but I'm extremely proud of the young man.
Eric Wood here on the Rich Eisen Show, Pro Bowl center once upon a time with the Bills, now with ESPN and more. You mentioned Allen, and interestingly enough, just in terms of chronology, just in terms of dates and times and things of that nature, he is the first 2018 quarterback to get a playoff win. Obviously, Lamar Jackson and Baker followed the next day, finally, even though Lamar had chances before. You're a University of Louisville guy as well, so I'm sure you were intimately knowledgeable of Lamar's career there and seeing what he's become as well. What challenge does Lamar now present to the Buffalo Bills to keep this thing going for Buffalo? What challenge does he represent to this defense, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, Lamar showed it last week in the playoff game against Tennessee, and he showed it throughout his football career that he's one crease away from taking it to the house. He's that special type of athlete, and he's got the ball in his hands on every play. And Greg Roman, a former offensive coordinator of mine in Buffalo, who's running the show on offense in Baltimore, sure knows how to use them. And Greg calls it window dressing. There's so much going on in front of your eyes. There's motions. There's guys pulling. And it's simple concepts when you're an offensive lineman or a running back. It's kind of the same plays over and over, but there's so much for a defense to digest, to see where the ball is going. And so that presents a ton of issues for a defense. Now, Buffalo played Lamar Jackson last year. Lamar Jackson was the unanimous MVP last year, and the only team to hold him to under 200 yards of total offense was the Buffalo Bills. Now, knowing Greg Roman, they can't roll out the same game plan they did last year, or Greg will expose it. That's the way he is. He's one of the best offensive minds in football. So when you look at it, the Bills are going to have to, continue to do what they did well last year and probably add maybe a few new pressures, a few new looks to the table to be able to have that same type of effect on Lamar as they did last year.
Well, in terms of run games, you can't compare the two. I mean, both quarterbacks clearly can be a threat running. Lamar, and you could say Josh Allen is sneaky good when you throw Lamar in the mix. Otherwise, he is a dynamite running quarterback of his own right. But Lamar's in a different class by himself right there. But my concern is for the Bills coming into the postseason. I mentioned, and I got some blowback from Bills Mafia, as is their want. That I was concerned that the Bills' run game was not going to be good enough in two crucial playoff scenarios. One being you go against a quarterback, say like Mahomes, and need to keep his touches limited, to keep his reps and to keep him nailed to the bench by controlling the clock. Or if you need to balance your offense in the playoffs and run, or if you will run the clock out in a way. And now Zach Moss gets carted off. How concerned are you about the Bills' run game for the divisional playoff, and if they're so fortunate later on?
Yeah, there's obvious concerns there with the run game, and one of the things that concerns me with the run game in Buffalo and the lack of it this season was that when you play playoff games in Orchard Park, there's a chance of snow Saturday night. I know what a chance of snow in Western New York means. there's a chance of lake effect snow. And then what are you going to do if you don't have your ground game and you're going against Baltimore, who's got the number one rush offense in the league? So, Zach Moss being out, the rookie out of Utah, he's their thumper back. They have Devin Singletary, who had a really good rookie season last year, and he's been effective in spots this year. He's over 4 yards a carry on the season, but last year he was super effective when he got touches over 5 yards a carry. So, they need production out of Devin Singletary when they give him the football. But make no bones about it, this is a passing-based offense. The Buffalo ran 4 wide. The Buffalo Bills, I never thought I'd say the day. The Buffalo Bills led the league in 4 wide receiver formations this year in the amount of times they did it. And so that's what they want to do. And they have a ton of confidence in Josh Allen and Cole Beasley and John Brown and Gabriel Davis. And the one guy that I honestly think you can thank the Baltimore Ravens for their 2019 performance against the Bills for them going out and getting the last guy I'll mention, and that's Stefon Diggs.
What do you mean?
Last year against the Bills, the Ravens basically said, we have 2 guys that can cover John Brown and Cole Beasley and whoever else you're going to roll out there. We are going to play cover 0. They ran cover 0 16 times against the Buffalo Bills last year. Defensive coordinators in the NFL, if you do that twice a game, that's a lot. They did it 16 times. So for the listeners at home, that means there's no safety at all. Everybody's manned up across the board, and you just blitz everybody else and say, you can't make an accurate throw, and you don't have a receiver that can beat us in time before that extra guy gets home. Now, when defensive coordinators do that, they know there's a risk because you can give up a touchdown on any play that you're on cover 0. A guy misses a tackle on the outside, and it's literally a touchdown. They did it 16 times against the Bills last year, and it worked. They crushed Josh Allen. He only had 146 yards in the whole game. He got sacked 5 times. He threw a pick. He had a fumble as well. I don't think they can do that again this year because of Stefon Diggs, and I think that because of that game last year and identifying that weakness, they went out and got a guy like Stefon Diggs.
How about that? So the team that's coming into Orchard Park is a team that you could basically say convinced Bean and the rest of the grocery shoppers, we got to flip a 1 for this kid. And he's been amazing. I mean, a revelation, totally. And Beasley has opened up. He's that glue guy, that third down guy, that slot guy that creates so many problems, certainly if you're paying attention to Diggs. And I'm telling you, man, I mean, just seeing Allen just stand back there. I've nicknamed him the Mandalorian quarterback. He just stands there in his armor and his helmet, and he surveys, and then he'll just fire off the rocket. It really is amazing what the Bills have turned into. Before I let you go, Eric Wood, your best Bills Mafia story in your time. What do you got? Have you ever hit a table? Have you ever jumped on a table? Have you ever seen anything like that personally? Give me your best Bills Mafia story in your time there, Eric Wood. Give it to me.
So last year, so generally I do, I'm the Bills radio analyst so I'll do call a college game on Saturday, then I go up to Buffalo and get to have some fun on the weekends and call so on Sunday I'll travel to Buffalo or wherever they're playing, and I call the game with John Murphy, who's phenomenal, their play-by-play guy who I've known forever. Well, last year I got reached out to by someone, and they said, hey, will you do a tailgate appearance before the game? And I said, yeah, but I'm not going to be as fun as I would after the game. I can't have a beer with you. I'm going to be sitting there drinking coffee.
Yeah. And
they said, yeah, it's our buddy's birthday. We're coming in from New York City. We'll give you $5,000 to show up here and just hang with us for a bit. And I said, that's fine. This is early in the season. It's beautiful weather. I'm not going to be out there freezing anyways. So I had a sport coat on and a white dress shirt. I was like, man, I'll ditch the sport coat. I'm going out into Bills Mafia into one of this isn't a stadium lot either. This is like this is a grass lot that like you pay to get in day of the game. This is like where Bills Mafia, like the guys you see on Barstool, hang out.
Okay.
So I go out there. My family's at the game. We're going to take some pictures before the game on the field and all that. So I'm kind of dressed up. And this guy's drinking a Guinness, and I must have said something that he thought was funny. So he spits into the top of this solo cup of Guinness, and it just covers me. So I'm covered in Guinness beer now before a broadcast, to try and pick up a few extra bucks before a game. And then we all agreed that the only proper repercussions is that I should slam him through a table. So then I kind of rock bottom him through a table. And, there's no way to avoid the pictures and videos. At first I'm like, hey, camera phone's down. Like, I'm going to
You're
work
professional.
Here,
Yes, you're professional.
And of course, I got a few text messages from the Bills brass, like, I know you're having fun, and credit to you for holding that coffee cup so people knew you weren't drinking beers out there. But holy smokes, Eric, we can't have you slamming people through tables before the game. I'm like, I know. It escalated really fast. So I didn't do any more of those last year.
Well, Eric, though, but your defense is like, but we decided that's the only proper punishment, and it is, right? I mean,
right. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, truth is your defense. That's what I'm saying. Eric, this has been fun. Let's do this again. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, Bills win. We'll do it again next week.
Let's do it either way, Eric. Thanks for the perspective. That's Eric Wood of the Buffalo Bills. Formerly the Buffalo Bills, now their broadcast, ESPN, and more. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.